This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. So delighted to have you joining me. In this quick answer episode, we're going to answer the question, what are the parts of an acoustic guitar? So I've got an acoustic guitar here. This is one I love using in the studio. It might look a little bit different than the guitars you're used to. That's because it's all mahogany, except for the bridge and the little fretboard piece that goes on. This guitar is entirely mahogany, and that's a little bit unusual. Most acoustic guitars have a spruce top, and then they might have mahogany on the back and sides, or rosewood on the back and sides. Sometimes you'll get a cedar top with rosewood or mahogany, or sapele, I should say, kind of like mahogany on the back and sides. Sometimes it's laminate, some sort of laminate wood on the back and sides with a spruce top, or occasionally a cedar top. So this one has a sweet sound, and it's just perfect for what I do here with these online lessons in the studio, but not the only guitar I own, not the only acoustic guitar I own. Most of my guitars have a spruce top. So just pointing that out. Okay, so with the parts of the guitar then, we've got the body, or the main part here. Then we have the neck. It's sort of a long neck instrument. And then the top part here is referred to as the headstock, or sometimes just called the head, but usually the headstock. On the neck, there's a piece of wood that sits right on top of it called the fretboard. The reason this is the fretboard is because we've got these metal bars that sit into that wood, and those are called the frets. Those are the frets of the guitar. And the way the guitar works is that when we push a string down against a fret, it changes the pitch. The higher we go along the neck, the higher the pitch sounds. So the spaces in between the metal bars are referred to as frets. That's where we put our fingers. So if you ever hear, stick your finger at fret 1, that's the first fret, or the one that's closest to the headstock. And so fret 1 we put there, and then fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, and they just go up numerically. So the spaces, because that's where we put our fingers, are referred to as the frets. And when you're putting your fingers down, it's good to just put them, a couple millimeters behind the actual metal fret bar. The metal fret bars are also referred to as frets. They're the actual metal frets, but the spaces are called frets. I guess we just all need plenty of frets, or we don't need them, so the guitar's got them. Silly little joke there. So to help us keep track of where the frets are visually while we're playing, most guitars right along the neck will have dots that help mark the frets. So most guitars have at least the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th frets marked. Some will also have the 1st fret. Some even go higher with like frets 15 and 17. Those odd numbers help us keep track. Fret 12, being not odd, is where the octave starts over from the open strings. So the next highest range of those exact same pitches is at fret 12. That one's usually marked with 2 dots. Some guitars will also have decorative markings out on the front that show where those frets are, mostly for decoration, since when we're playing we're not really looking around, but we do see the ones marked on this part of the neck. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about here are the strings. Of course, these are the strings of the guitar. Now, they have a number name and they have a pitch name. So the pitch that they ring at open is the name of that string, and then also they have a number. With the numbers, most of us would want the one that's closest to our head to be number 1, so the 6th string, but it's actually backwards from that. The smallest string has the smallest number, the biggest or fattest string has the biggest number. So the high string is number 1, and then the next string is number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The pitch names for that highest string is E, and then B, G, D, A, and E. And of course, when we're tuning the guitar, it can help to know what those pitches are. So now with the strings, they usually attach on an acoustic guitar through the bridge. On a classical or nylon string, they're going to tie onto the bridge, but on most standard acoustic guitars, they almost always go down through a hole in the bridge, and then they have a plug that holds them in there. The strings will have a metal ball on the end, plugs down into the hole, or it sits down into the hole, and then the plug holds it there. It comes out of the bridge and goes over the saddle. That's the first real contact point for the string. So this is the saddle, and then it suspends all the way over until we get to the nut that's just down here by the headstock at the end of the fretboard. Those are the 2 contact points. However tight a string is strung between those 2 points is what pitch it's going to ring at openly. And so each of them ring at their individual pitches. And then of course when we start pressing the string down, it shortens the length. So we've created a new contact point when it's pressed against a fret, and then it's also still the saddle, and so it rings at a different pitch depending on where it's pressed down. But with the open strings, its contact point is the nut and then the saddle. Of course, the strings suspend past the nut and then wrap around these metal posts, which are part of the tuning keys. We tighten the tuning keys to raise the pitch, and we loosen it to lower the pitch. Okay, so moving beyond that, then we have the pick guard. A lot of acoustic guitars will have a pick guard because when we're strumming with a pick, a lot of times we will hit the actual guitar, and the pick guard protects it from getting a hole in there. You can sometimes see guitars that have holes from fingers and picks scratching their way right through, even so far through that it creates a hole right through the top. Now, as we talk about the top, let's talk about the parts of the body of the guitar a little bit here. You have the top, or the soundboard. This resonates and is really important to the sound of a guitar, and as well as the other parts of the wood, but this is what really resonates and has the biggest impact on the sound of the guitar. So it's known as the soundboard, or the top. And then you have the sides, also sometimes referred to as the ribs, and then you have the back, of course, on the back of the guitar. Now I'm pulling off that strap. I can mention that a lot of guitars will have a pin right back here on the side or the rib where the strap can attach to, go under our arm, up over the shoulder. And then some guitars will have right on the dovetail, they'll have another attachment there, and that's what mine does, pin strap on both parts. Some guitars with straps will just tie on, the strap will tie on down by the headstock just behind the nut. Okay, so that's the parts of the acoustic guitar. Hope you're having fun with guitar, whatever it is that you're doing with it. Take care, and we hope to see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.